Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Just Roll It Already. I'm your host, Daryl.
I'm your other host, Jeremiah.
And I'm guest star Matt.
Okay, today we are going to be doing Shop Talk, the small topic roleplay conversations. The topic today is actually being controlled by Matt.
Yeah.
So, Matt, kick us off on this one.
All right. Well, one thing that I'd always been kind of wishy-washy about in some campaigns is when to joke and when not to joke. Like, there are some times that are appropriate and others that aren't.
All right, so you're asking when joking is appropriate, when joking is not appropriate. Can you give us an example, kind of, like a small one?
Yeah, like, I remember in one of Jeremiah's campaign when I was in it, we were being escorted out of a town, and I had the whisper spell. So one of these fellows who was following us, looking to rob us, I whispered into the guard's ear, like, "Hey, guard, you smell. You suck. You're, blah, 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 blah,
Your mother
stuff
was a
like
hamster."
that. Yeah, your mother was a hamster, and your father smelled of elderberries. And
Okay, so
all
you're
that.
kind of saying you're taking in the game, you start doing stupid stuff on purpose, and it's just getting out of hand.
Yeah, but it was also for a purpose. I wanted the guard to get mad at this guy who had just tried to, steal from us.
Okay, Jeremiah.
No, I don't think that's that big of a problem. You're mainly trying to do an objective. I think it's worse when the GM is doing something very serious. Like, the princess is in the middle of dying.
Yeah.
And, like, the sorcerer's like, I made her face pink and polka dotted. It's like a serious moment, like, oh my god, she's dying, it's sad. And he's like Bambi's mother was shot. And then just, like, a clown comes in juggling, like, bowling pins. Like, like, that's not the time to do that.
No, that's not the time to do any of that.
No.
Also, even when when people are trying to run the game, you look at it and you say, oh, well, you're trying to set up the scene or something like that, and then somebody starts making jokes about Bonnie Python or about a game or a meme that got thrown out they can think it's funny to throw out in there, or you're Big Rudy and you just constantly try to make funny stuff happen in middle of character and out of character.
Yeah.
Or you're an incredibly dramatic backstory guy, or he shall not be gamed.
Yeah.
I hate incredibly dramatic backstories. I hate them so much.
Well, Mr. Incredibly Dramatic Backstory is our meme.
Yeah.
No, we call...
Yeah, incredibly dramatic. I know.
Yeah. All right, well,
It's horrible.
Well, like I'm saying, like, now, granted, I'm a bit of a clown shoes guy. I do like comedy, but at the same time, like, I know some of the campaign we're running right now, I want a little bit more serious substance to my story, and, like, it's hard when people are like, oh, we do this, and it's like, come on, guys, don't just start messing with the NPC like that.
Yeah, because I remember when we were in the sewers and you made the air around you with prestidigitation smell like bacon.
And then somebody of some nature said, oh, and the rats come and just eat everybody. Like,
yeah,
all right.
And we just started laughing, and it was very sad, and a bunch of people died.
It was funny.
It was
we
funny.
Had a good time, but it was stupid.
It was just like, guys, why are we cackling The guards cut you down.
Well, also, when you sit there and you suddenly make all sorts of jokes that have a different double meaning, like the term pitch a tent.
Yeah.
Okay, and if you guys don't know what pitch a tent is, be grateful you don't, because it gets really annoying when you sit there and you say, okay, guys, what do you do?
Set up camp.
I set up camp. Okay, do you need to pitch your tent?
Yeah.
Okay, that alone is disruptive. It's annoying, and I'm going to be honest. When I hear those kind of jokes go on in the middle of a game, somebody say, hey, could you hold these giant balls for me? Or these phallic kind of jokes or sexual jokes, they get out of hand. And that's one form of joking that gets really annoying in my games, because, people sometimes sit there and say, I'm going to look for a hot woman, or I'm going to look for a nice guy, or I'm going to go out and find somebody to punch or something like that. And I'm like, you know what? These are things that people do in character, and if it's part of their character, so what? But if you're going to be doing it to kind of work out a fantasy and you're trying to be stupid and funny at the same time, it gets annoying. It slows out a game, it gets obnoxious, and it just pisses me off.
Yeah.
And if it's not, like, happening at, like, important story intervals, I don't really care too much. But, like, when the king's addressing you, I don't want you to start, like, touching yourself inappropriately in the corner with your character, like, yeah, I do this, like, I'm like, the king's not going to allow you to do that. He's like, I don't care. It's like, well, please stop. That's not helping anything. Like, you're just ruining a story. I mean, this is a story at the end of the day we're trying to do.
Well, there's a lot of work going into game mastering, and also it's again, we kind of covered it in etiquette, but also it's good etiquette in general just to be more respectful of the other players because they're taking the time of their day to play. And if you're going to sit there and make penis jokes or fart jokes or sex jokes or any kind of joke that just becomes disruptive, it gets ridiculous. Even cross-talking, as part of cross-talking is the joking.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, there's a big part about it, yeah.
Okay, and when people start making too many laughing noises or something, it kind of stops the game and everyone stares at this person and it gets sidetracked. When to joke is maybe on a break.
Yeah.
Maybe when something happens in character, like
Yeah.
for example, you suddenly say, "I'm going to jump out the window. Don't worry, guys. I totally got this branch. I'm going to jump over the wall. What I'm going to do is hit the tree, bounce off the branch, jump over the wall, do a front flip, attach the grappling hook, and we'll be all right since none of us can throw that far."
Yeah.
So I'm going to do this right now. The guy does it. He rolls a failure and he falls out the window, hits the branch, gets chased by dogs, and he has to scale the wall with a dog hanging to his butt. And he finally gets across. Yeah, mission accomplished. But then everyone in character is making fun of you for saying, like, you totally had it, sir. You totally had it.
Did it.
Yeah, you did it.
We're not like, for the viewers or listeners out there, we're not being like fascist and saying don't joke. I mean,
Yeah.
because a lot of times when it comes to RP, that is like one of the defining points that unites people. Like, oh, you remember that one time, and you laugh, and
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
the good times.
Yeah, the jokes have a point, but when you come to a point that jokes become disruptive and they become annoying rather than helpful to the game, that's when it becomes a problem. So knowing where that line is and where that line isn't.
Yeah.
Because if you're all mature role players and you're all in your early to late 20s, and then suddenly they come through and they sit there and you have this one person with a maturity of a 14-year-old, suddenly this person with a low maturity is going to disrupt the game and it's going to be obnoxious.
Yeah, like I remember one time a friend and I were playing in a little online game, and my friend likes to play female characters, so we were just like, oh, wouldn't it be cool? Like, wow, we're brother and sister, and we're really good friends, in out of character life, and so we were really friendly and like, oh, sister, oh, brother, and then man, the incest jokes would just not stop.
Yeah, that can be annoying as well.
Yeah, and then just eventually at a certain point, because I was, here comes the hate, it was a 4th ed campaign, and paladins in 4th ed can deal a lot of damage and heal themselves, so you are just not doing anything to them. And my buddy was a rogue, so quick high DPS. So we just sat there and we were like, all right, if you make another joke, we are going to murder you. And we were both serious. And another joke, I use my daily, I murder you. Because it was like 2 hours of, innuendo.
Well, if we're going to be going with examples here, I was one time playing in a World of Darkness game, and it was like Dark Ages, kind of like medieval times, so on and so on. Well, it could be partially because the group I had was about 12 players and one of me, and the fact that these people's maturity level sucked, and some of them were, actually many of them were older than me, and I'm trying to tell a story, and I have to go one-on-one with all these people, or group by all these people, based on where they're at. Well, yeah, sure, I have 4 people in a single room talking to them, and then I have to turn to another group and do that. Well, some of them would start talking and making jokes, and it gets really disruptive, because you're trying to tell a story, it draws the attention from other people, it gets loud, it gets obnoxious, and you're saying, okay, you know what? Quit with the references, quit with the jokes, quit with the memes. Okay, you see the wizard, his name is not Tim. You see the bunny rabbit, no, it is not the vicious white rabbit of death. You don't need all these Catholic jokes, no pedo jokes, no gay jokes, no sexual innuendos of any kind.
Yeah.
And maybe this transcends more than sexual jokes to maybe just outright obnoxious kind.
Yeah.
And it's also what's really bad is it almost becomes a joke when somebody will laugh at something that's not funny when it's horrific. Like and there's a horrific scene where like some Jewish woman is being like raped by some Nazis, and someone starts bellowing like a drain, like, yeah. It's like, dude, that's not a joke, but now you're like making it bad, and it's like people start joking for no apparent reason. Like, why are you laughing? This is serious, man. Like, I understand.
This guy just got his face ripped off by a zombie. How is that funny?
Or no, like, or your mother was murdered. What? No, wait. Why? What?
Yeah.
No.
My mother's a real lich. Yeah,
Oh, yeah,
like,
exactly.
I'm like, well, that's, Yeah, no, because seriously, there are, those appropriate times, and those inappropriate times. But I mean, like an appropriate time that we had was in the Eclipse phase game we were playing. You put a lot of points into what was it? Free running.
Yeah,
from a robot.
Yeah.
And what is it, like you rolled like a 99 or something?
Yeah, I failed horrifically. Like, my guy, statistically, he should almost roll success, like, all the time. He has, like, an 80. But if you roll 99, it's a critical failure. But, like, on a D100, that means I have a 20% chance to fail. So out of 1 out of 5 rolls, my guy will fail. Well, I've rolled the, like, 1 out of 100 chance of failure.
Yeah.
Like, it was like, wow, really?
And then you slipped on a shot glass, fell over a balcony, into the crowd, indented into the pavement, and everyone started laughing at you.
I did the classic, like, cartoon indent in the ground.
Yeah.
And you were a 800-pound robot.
Yeah.
And you fell like 30 feet.
Yeah. And that was hilarious because, even Daryl started, with the crowd, oh, yeah, they call you, like, faceplant guy. That was hilarious.
Mr.
That was
Indent.
yeah, Mr. Indent.
Yeah.
That was funny. And we all had a good laugh, and then that was never talked about ever again.
Yeah, I mean, we didn't keep going with that for the entire night. We actually did our game. We didn't like,
Yeah.
oh, let's talk about this for the next 8 hours. Like,
Yeah.
no, like, because we won't do that. Like, it's,
No, it's a joke of the moment. It's a joke of the moment, and that's when it's okay.
Yeah.
Or even kind of like afterwards when you say, and you fail.
yeah, like
Yeah.
it's funny, but you know that's funny. You take some laughs. You take a bast. You breathe in. All right, now let's continue rolling dice and having fun.
Now, here's the thing I'd like to get your guys' opinion on. Now, how do you control players who do the really inappropriate
Sock with quarters.
a blanket and a few friends? Whoa.
Yes. No, how I do this with all seriousness, I will deduct experience points, or I get to the point I finally say, you know what, game's over, guys. It's all your fault. Game's over. Okay, I'm not going to play this. I'm done.
Now that's the extreme case, though. That's like for the last 5 sessions, all you guys have been doing is this. You clearly don't want to play. You want to hang out. That's cool. Let's hang out now. But I'm not going to sit here and put on a serious face. Like, that's
You start making threats. That's pretty much like hostile threat, saying, okay, you know what, if I hear one more joke about this ever again, this entire session, all of your experience is cut in half, or all your points are deducted, or you don't get anywhere, or everything you do will consider in failure, and there's nothing you're going to do about it.
Yeah.
You don't get your fate chip. You don't get your res point. You don't get your XP. You don't get your action point.
Yeah.
Okay, you give them like a threat in game, out of game, and then they realize, oh crap.
Yeah.
And because if there's anything that players like, it's gubbins.
Yeah.
Now, if you want to be really messed up, you're like, oh yeah, you're a Joker. You like to be funny. Well, how about this is funny? You're a fighter. Let's put your strength and intelligence. All your strength. Let's switch your intelligence to your strength score. You min-maxed, so you have like a -8 intel. You have an 8 intellect and a 18 strength. Let's just switch those around. There, is that funny? You
Okay.
think that's ha funny? Yeah. How about that? You imbalated fighter. Like it's.
Okay, so closing topics, closing thoughts. Let's see. I say yes, you can go with the sock quarter thing, or you can go with the out of game punishments, or you just sit there and you become a pirate about the whole thing.
I would say avoid physical reprimanding your players. Don't really put quarters in a sock, and they need their pretty faces to make money. Now, yeah, I would go along Daryl's aspect, and yeah, do psychological torture.
Yeah,
like, take away their loots. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, how do you make a player behave? Don't offer them death. Offer them loss of experience.
Yeah, people hate experience loss more than they do death. That's
Yeah.
more feared than death. It really is.
Or depending on the system, leveling loss.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, like people would rather die than lose levels. Like, no. Like, it's,
Yeah. Okay. Well, that will do it for this episode. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe below. If you have any questions, email at us at our Gmail account at justrolledalready.com. Have a good day.